Welcome back to my devlog series. Several times people told me that the sensitivity for the mouse is way too big, and that's mostly due to the fact that I configured it to feel good for my setup, and of course that setup won't be the same for your computers. And I added the menu, so now in the game if you press escape you can actually change the mouse sensitivity in this rudimentary menu. It works fine. It does the job. I really hope that it improves the experience for you. It doesn't save the state. That's something that's going to be added way later on when I do the full game menu. The way I did it was to make an object which draws the menu, which is being hidden when it's not needed, and when it's being shown it pauses the entire game. But Godot allows you to actually specify which objects are being paused and which aren't, and that's pretty easy to do and easily allows you to add menu elements. If you have any questions about this, please let me know in the comment section. The slider element in the menu has an unchanged event, and when that happens I take that value and I change the way the camera behaves. So there is a multiplication value. Whenever the camera moves I multiply it with the camera sensitivity, with the mouse sensitivity, and that's how I get the mouse sensitivity feature. Sometimes when developing a game you might have some changes, especially in the code, that the players won't see, and they're not impactful directly, but they totally impact you as the developer. One of these things is refactoring. So you might get in a position where you've written some code or have reused some piece of code, or some piece of code is not properly written, or you are not happy with its state. And that's a very valid moment. Stop whatever you are doing, take a step back and actually look at the code. It's a step that you will always say that, oh, it's something that I'm going to do in the future, but it's always better to actually do it then, when you notice that it should be changed. And for example, what I'm doing here is changing the way the physics of the creatures is being done. And I realize that I'm reusing the same code all over the place. And if I want to add flying creatures, I would actually need to be able to use the same code in a very easy manner. Of course, this added some bugs. As you can see here, due to a bug, the creatures don't fall anymore and they are floating above my head in this funny way. But in the long run, now that creatures are more stable, and if I change something about, for example, adding slippery surfaces, it's way easier for me to actually change the code in just one place, and that's going to impact all the creatures. Another change that I made for the spy crab was that I wanted it to be sort of intelligent and have a sense of having a pack. And the way I did this was to make the nest be its parent, and each of the crabs can communicate with the nest and always ask, hey, how many of us are outside? And if there are at least 3, then they are going to behave in a very aggressive manner and approach the player and bite the player. But if the player manages to escape and there are less than 3 crabs remaining, then they are getting frightened and they will leave and run away from the player. If the nest is being destroyed, the nest will spawn extra 3 spy crabs, which means those crabs and the rest of the survivors will behave in an aggressive manner. So the way that was done was to actually give a reference to the nest when the crab is being spawned by the nest. And the nest always knows how many crabs are out, and whenever the one crab dies, it will inform the nest that it died, and the nest will remove it from its memory. Because the spy crab nest has several points of life, that means the player will not be able to tell how much damage it dealt to the nest. So in order to change that, I had to add a way to feedback that the nest is being damaged, so the player knows, yes, my actions are actually having an impact on this object. And I had to draw another sprite for when the nest is halfway damaged. This concludes this week's progress. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section, and I hope you enjoyed this entry. Thank you for watching and see you next Saturday. After this time lapse, I'm actually going to show off the spy crab and its nest. So stick up until the end. So the crabs are being spawned by the nest. If I destroy any of them, the nest will spawn another one. But they're in a limited amount, so if I keep firing at them, they're going to get consumed. So right now they're just 4, 3, now they're actually going to be scared by me, so if they're actually going to flee. It's running away from me. But if I destroy their nest, more crabs are being spawned, and these are aggressive, and these folks also got aggressive. Now they're going to attack me, and they kind of deal a lot of damage if you are surrounded, so they're dangerous.